All right. I am live. I'll apologize for the no notice right now, but I realized I was in between products or projects, and I owed you guys a chapter. I was unable to do chapter 3 last week. I forget what was going on, but I found myself with some free time right now. So we are going to read chapter 3 in The Tiny Vampire from Outer Space That's Bitey, Escaping Umbra by Stacy Carroll. That's me. Hi. Hi. All right, so chapter 3 is simply titled Chivitas, and that is another vampire planet. I bet you anything Shadow and Marcus are about to get dropped off right here. So, let me get to it, folks. You can follow along. The links are in the description to the books if you want to buy them. If you don't, you can just listen to me and go back in the previous lives and listen to chapters 1 and 2. But here is chapter 3, so let me get started. So, chapter 3, Chivitas. Marcus was in the middle of showing Shadow the true depths of Umbra vampire pleasure when the door beeped, indicating someone on the other side wanted entrance. He looked down at Shadow. She hadn't heard, and he had barely missed a thrust. Rather than stopping, he continued. When she started to really enjoy herself, Marcus muffled the noise. The door beeped 3 more times while they were finishing. What the hell is that? Shadow questioned when she became aware of her surroundings. I need to answer the door, Marcus said. I figured out how to lock it yesterday morning before we went to bed. The sun is barely down now. Why are they awake? Shadow asked. Because they're alive. Marcus removed himself from her and put on a robe before walking over to the door. He pressed a button. The door opened, revealing the captain. What was the holdup? Captain George asked. Marcus motioned to the bed. My apologies, he said, but Chivitas is dark now. If we waited until we were originally going to land, we'd be dropping you off at high sun. You need us to get ready to leave, Marcus said. Please, you have 30 minutes, Captain George said. We'll be in the cargo hold. Marcus watched as the captain walked down the hall. We have to leave? Shadow asked. I think they punched the pedal to the floor. We're at Chivitas a night early, Marcus said. It doesn't matter, though. He grabbed their bags and packed them. The sooner we get there, the sooner we can get established, build the ship, and get off. Do we have a plan? Shadow asked. I'll have one, Marcus said as he zipped both bags. We need showers and we need to get down to the cargo hold. Do they like us on Chivitas? Shadow asked as she climbed out of the bed. I don't know, Marcus said. Let's not tell them we're from Umbra, and we should try to blend in until we know for sure. Marcus waited for Shadow to shower, then he walked into the bathroom. Whatever you want to wear. Shadow slid a summer dress over her head, then grabbed her new hooded cloak that the doctor had shown them how to replicate in the food dispenser. Marcus walked out of the bathroom as soon as he was clean and dry. He dressed in a pair of new slacks and a new shirt before putting on his cloak. I do have to give them credit. We have new clothes. For free, Shadow said. Marcus kissed the side of her face. Indeed, he grabbed their bags and walked out of the room. What did you do? Shadow asked. He looked guilty of something. I'll show you when we get to the planet, Marcus said, as he led her down the hall to the elevator. 10 minutes later, they were standing in the cargo hold. You get proper seats this time, the crew member said as he opened the rear door. Shadow sat in her seat while Marcus sat next to her. We forgot food. I already thought of it. The crew member handed them each a sealed cup with a straw. We're going to depart immediately. We should be on the planet's surface in about an hour. Shadow stepped off the shuttle an hour and a half later with Marcus. The crew members were busy shutting down the transport and getting organized. Should we wait for them? No, Marcus said. We just need to walk to the nearest town. Can we shadow shift there? Shadow asked. I don't know where we're going, Marcus said. It's best if we walk. Shadow followed Marcus through the forest to the nearest road. It was dirt, but that was nothing new. All the roads on Umbra were either dirt or brick. I think I see some houses, Marcus said, after they had walked about 2 miles. Hotel? Shadow asked. I'm sure there's one in town, Marcus said, and we'll just get something live to eat. He stepped onto the town's main road. Shadow looked at the houses and buildings. I like it. Looks sophisticated, Marcus said. Hot bath, he nudged her. Shadow laughed. I just had a shower. I'll give you a reason for another one. Shadow laughed harder as they were approached by a Chivitas vampire. New to town, he asked. Just arrived, Marcus said. We were hoping this was a good place to relax for a few nights. The resorts are on the other side of the planet, but you might find it relaxing if you're looking for a slower pace. That sounds fine for us, Marcus said. Hotel is up the street. You can't miss it. Marcus thanked him and ushered Shadow up the road. Did you find that odd? Shadow asked. Marcus winked as he opened the door for her. I knew you did something. Shadow walked in and looked around the lobby. To her, it looked like a luxury resort. The lobby was clean and fully furnished. She could see a business center through one door and a restaurant down another hall. Although, if the restaurant were anything like the ones on Umbra, all it served was warm or cold blood in your choice of glassware. Marcus walked up to the counter. We'd like a room. For how long? The desk clerk asked. Let's start with 2 nights, Marcus said. That'll be 2 gold coins, the clerk said. Marcus opened his bag and pulled out 2 gold coins. He handed them to the clerk. The clerk examined them. Very good. If you decide to stay longer, let us know the last day of your stay. He handed Marcus the key to the room. Thank you. Marcus walked with Shadow up the stairs. Where did you get those coins? Shadow asked. Marcus smiled. Don't worry about it. Is that why you're carrying both bags? It is, Marcus said as they arrived at the second floor landing. He glanced at the digital placard on the wall. Our room is this way. Is this a vacation? Shadow asked. It is, Marcus said. We'll have to figure out something more permanent, but for now, let's consider it a vacation. He unlocked the door and opened it. Shadow hopped through the doorway and looked around. This is great. Marcus followed her. He closed and locked the door, applying the chain. Better than I expected for the price. Shadow opened the mini fridge and pulled out a bottle. Blood beer. I haven't had one of those in months, Marcus said. Shadow handed him the bottle and pulled another one out for herself. Marcus opened his and took a long drink. This is what I needed. He made himself comfortable on an oversized lounge chair. How much of that gold did you replicate? Shadow asked as she sprawled across the bed. Not nearly enough, Marcus said. I had to do it when you were deeply asleep. The trouble was that when you're deeply asleep, so was I. Shadow grinned. Don't you sleep? Not like that, Marcus said. But at these rates, I probably have 2 or 3 months worth of money. However, I would prefer it if we didn't spend all of our coins on hotels. The sooner I can get a house, the better. I can get a job. I had one, Shadow said. As a torturer, Marcus said. Sounds like an invite only type of position. It is. Shadow frowned. I'd rather you just do your own things, Marcus said. Do you have hobbies? I don't know, Shadow said. We'll find you some, Marcus said. I'd rather just focus on getting myself a job so I can take care of you. You want to take care of me? Are you thinking about bonding? Shadow asked. Marcus looked at her, wondering how she could know that. Their race didn't have telepathy. I might be. He took another drink of his beer. Shadow slid off the bed with her beer and climbed into his lap. When? As soon as I can get you a house and me a job, Marcus said. And yes, I know we could do it right now, but we still need some time to get to know each other a little better. Bonding is typically eternal. Not to mention, I want to see how well we're accepted here. Typically? Shadow questioned. There's a way to break them, Marcus said. It's not easy, but it can be done. Shadow looked at the arm of the chair. I'm sorry. Marcus hugged her. Don't be. You didn't break any bonds with me. He rubbed her back. You tensed, Shadow said. He kissed the side of her face. I'm not upset with you. I never thought I'd be contemplating bonding again. Let me work through my own thoughts on it. But I'll talk to you if I need to, Marcus said. And you can talk to me if you need to. Okay. She paused. What happens if we're not accepted? Shadow asked. We'll go to another town or one of those large cities, Marcus said, thankful she had changed the subject. I'll eventually buy or build a ship. Then we'll go to Earth. But we can't drink the blood there, Shadow said. I think I can figure out a distillation process that will allow us to drink it, Marcus said. But we'll likely be the only vampires there. So once I get the process correct, we'll have plenty of food. This sounds like you're committing yourself to the next 47 years, Shadow said. Marcus laughed. It sure does. But since we're back on the subject, is that a yes? Are you willing to bond with me despite our incredible age difference? Yes, Shadow said. She liked Marcus. She'd never gotten along so well with another vampire. Marcus kissed her. Good. He finished his beer and set the bottle on the side table. Does that mean you love me? Shadow asked. I'm getting there, Marcus said. You? Shadow nodded. Is that because I make this happy? He slid his hand down to her hem. Shadow laughed. Not entirely. Marcus drug his lips down her neck. I knew it had something to do with it. He loved feeling her scream and tremble in his arms, but he knew they needed to be able to do more together than copulate. However, considering we've done a lot of that over the last 2 nights, what else do you want to do? We could walk around town, see if they have anything to do here, Shadow said. I like that idea. He tapped her thigh. Shadow slid out of his lap. There has to be something to do here other than eat and sleep. And copulate, Marcus said as he stood. Did we scare the Earthlings? Shadow asked. I think it made them uncomfortable, Marcus said. Not that their discomfort was going to stop me. He did love plunging his mutto into her. Shadow unlocked the door and opened it. She walked into the hall and waited for Marcus. Marcus closed the door and listened for the automatic locking mechanism. When it clicked, He took Shadow's hand and walked with her downstairs. As they walked through the lobby doors, Shadow looked up and down the street. Something interesting might be that way, she motioned. We have all night, Marcus said. If all we do is go for a walk, that's fine. You're awfully laid back, Shadow said. I didn't used to be, Marcus said. My early years were a different story. But at my age, I know I have all the time in the world, barring an accident. Sunlight and fire, Shadow said. Those are the two, Marcus said as he scanned the building signs. How about a bar? That sounds good, Shadow said. Did you see any food? Like a live food vendor, Marcus asked. Yes, Shadow said. I do not, Marcus said. I'll ask the barkeep. He opened the door, allowing Shadow inside ahead of him. Shadow walked up to the bar. Welcome. What can I get for you? The barkeep asked. Blood wine, blood beer? Marcus asked. We have both, and whiskey, he said. 1 wine, 1 beer, and 2 whiskeys, Marcus said as he helped Shadow onto the stool. He sat down next to her. The barkeep pulled the drinks. Anything else? We're new to town. She was hoping for a live food vendor, Marcus said. There's 2 that come down this street, but it's a little early yet, the barkeep said. If you're starving, I can warm up some blood bags. Do you want a warm blood bag or wait? Marcus asked. How long? Shadow asked. 2 minutes for the bag. It'll probably be 2 hours before the vendors get here, the barkeep said. Marcus watched her contemplating the question. We'll take 2 bags. Give me 2 minutes. He placed their drinks in front of them. Marcus took a drink of his beer. Doesn't look like there's a shortage here. I'm so glad, Shadow said, then turned her head when she heard 2 patrons talking about a spaceship that landed. Word travels fast, Marcus said. 2 warm bloods. The barkeep set the tall glasses in front of them. I went ahead and put them in a glass. I've learned that if you're asking for live food, a blood bag is hard to use. Marcus chuckled. I'm okay with them. Her, not so much. Did you hear about the ship that landed? They think it's the Earthlings, the bartender said. Those guys behind us just said something, Marcus said. Did you see it? The bartender asked. I saw a weird light, didn't think much of it, Marcus said. Are visits common? Not on this side of the planet. I think they got their landing site wrong, he said. They may have. Marcus took a drink of the blood. Pretty tasty. I try and get the good stuff in here, even though few ask for it, the bartender said, just as he realized the female was draining the glass in one long swallow. Hungry there, Tiny? Marcus took another drink from his glass, then passed it to Shadow. She just loves to eat. Shadow drained the rest of Marcus's blood. That's good. The bartender handed her a napkin. You're dripping. Shadow wiped her mouth, then eyed the bartender's hand. Don't get your hand too close to her mouth, Marcus said. Ah, a young one. She's still a little bitey, the bartender chuckled. That's okay, we're used to it. Everyone brings their children here to help socialize them. We're working on it, Marcus said. Appreciate your tolerance. Not a problem. Let me know if you need anything else. I like this place, Shadow said. So do I, Marcus said. He drained his blood whiskey. Now that is good. Shadow drained hers. Is there anything else to do? There's a midnight garden down the road if you like flowers, the bartender said. I'm not opposed, Marcus said. How much do I owe you? 1 coin, he said. Marcus handed him a gold coin. Let's go see that garden. Shadow followed him out of the bar. Why did we leave so soon? Didn't want anyone asking any questions if they saw us coming in, Marcus said. We have fangs, Shadow said. I know. I still didn't want to see him. We need to keep a low profile for now, he said as they walked. Did you want to see the gardens? Sounds fun, Shadow said as she tucked herself under his arm. Marcus reached around and picked her up. He waited until she wrapped around him before continuing. Aren't I a little heavy? Shadow asked. 90 pounds, Marcus said. Not heavy. He looked ahead and saw signs for the gardens. It's also not a long walk. Shadow hopped down once they were inside the gardens. I don't see a counter. Marcus spotted a small stand and picked up a flimsy book. He flipped through it. It's free. This explains what's here. He handed her the book and laid an arm around her waist before leading her down the path. Shadow touched a flower, then opened the book. Native to Chivitas. What's it called? Marcus asked. A chevet, Shadow said. Marcus chuckled. It's very blue. He glanced across the small field. What about the red one? Oh, that's better, Shadow said. Maybe I'll buy you some of those when we get a new house, Marcus said. They match your hair. He walked with her a few feet down the path and paused. Another vampire was in the gardens. Excuse me, am I in your way? The vampire asked. No, we're just enjoying the plant life, Marcus said. I'm Marcus, and this is my bonded. Nice to meet you both. I'm Jane, she said. I don't think I've seen you here before. We're taking a break from the city, Marcus said. Understandable. I've heard they're crowded and getting dirty, Jane said. They're not as pleasant as they used to be. There's still plenty of work, but the rest of it's losing appeal, Marcus said. I have heard. She stepped to the side of the path. Don't let me interrupt your walk. Marcus led Shadow past the female vampire. The garden was overflowing with color. It was a stark contrast to the darkness they lived in. There were large blue trees with purple flowers, red trees with white flowers, and plenty of areas to get lost. In fact, Marcus found themselves in a secluded area surrounded by large trees and flowering bushes backed by an ornate stone wall. He pressed Shadow against it and kissed her. You sure you don't feel anything for me? Shadow asked. Marcus kissed down her jaw to her neck. I feel a lot for you. He kissed his way to her shoulder, gripping her collarbone between his blunt teeth before a great howling caught his attention. He jerked his head away and looked in the direction of the noise. It was coming from town. Hey! Marcus looked down. He'd broken the skin. He placed his hand over it. It'll heal. Let me listen to this. It's the alarms to get inside, Jane said as she ran toward them, then down the path. What's the danger? Marcus asked. I don't know, but you can bet it's something, Jane said. They don't trigger those things lightly. Thank you. We'll head back to our hotel. Marcus took Shadow's hand and quickly led her out of the garden. He paused once they were inside the town limits. Can we just go directly to the hotel? Shadow asked. No, someone would see, Marcus said, as he watched the vampires on the street running toward the nearest entrances. I don't see anything dangerous, Shadow said. I don't either. Marcus pulled her against the wall with him and into a dark shadow. Let's see what we see while all these Chivitas run into their holes. Can they hear us? Shadow asked. Can't hear us and can't see us, Marcus said. What do you think it is? I think it's because that shuttle landed in the woods, Marcus said, as he watched the street. There were only a few stragglers left, and he still didn't see any danger. I see them, Shadow said. The humans? Marcus asked as he followed her gaze. Never mind, I see them. They were more than a mile down the road, just entering town. We need to get back to the hotel. He edged both him and Shadow into the nearest alley. He took a hold of Shadow's shoulders. Big leap. Shadow squealed as she landed on the bed in their hotel room. Marcus pulled off her sandals and set them on the floor. I thought you said we weren't going to go through the darkness, Shadow said. I found an alley, and it was less risky than accidentally running into the Earthlings. They would have recognized us and wanted to talk, Marcus said. Shadow squirmed out of her dress. Marcus cast his gaze down her body. He had planned to spend quality time with her that didn't involve his motto, although he had to admit that he found her extremely attractive despite her size. She had to be one of the smallest Umbra vampires he'd ever met, but that knowledge did nothing to dim his libido. You look like you're thinking, Shadow said. I'm glad those horns stopped, Marcus said. I don't think that's what you're thinking, and it sounds like rain, Shadow said. It's not, but that's what I'm telling you I'm thinking. Marcus listened for a moment. Maybe it wasn't the Earthlings that caused the alarms. He could certainly hear thunder in the distance. I wonder how bad the storms are here. Shadow hopped off the bed and walked over to the window. She pulled the curtains back and looked outside. The Earthlings were being led down the street by two Chivitas. Marcus stepped behind her to look out the window. He could hear the wind now. Might have been both reasons. I only see two vampires out there, Shadow said. Exactly, Marcus said. We should have stayed down there. We could have seen where they were going, Shadow said. We need to worry about ourselves, Marcus said. He slid his arms around her. What are you doing tomorrow? Shadow asked. I'm going to see if anyone is hiring, Marcus said, as he slid a hand down her abdomen. I should probably start the process now. He kissed her shoulder. Get out of the window before someone thinks you're advertising. Marcus walked over to the digital panel on the desk. He wanted to sink his motto into her, but he wanted to get some business accomplished first. Shadow laughed. She closed the curtains. If they come calling, how much should I charge? Marcus tapped a few buttons. With how tight you are, you could charge whatever you wanted. How many coins do you think I could make in a night? Marcus hit the available jobs button and turned his head to look at her. A lot, but I'm mostly joking. You don't want to do that for a living. Why? Shadow asked. Because it's not as much fun as you think it is, and the thought of you effing an entire town isn't appealing to me, Marcus said. He scrolled through the results. This looks promising. Shadow wrapped her arms around him from behind and looked at the screen. We don't have any references here. Or documentation. Thank you for reminding me, Marcus said. What are you going to do about that? Shadow asked. Create them, Marcus said. From here? Shadow asked. Marcus picked up one of her hands and kissed it. I don't have much choice. Can I go find something to eat? Shadow asked. You're naked. Let me call down and see what they have. Marcus looked around the room for a phone. Eventually, he found a digital intercom panel. Marcus pressed the button for the front desk. Yes. What do you have for food? He listened to the menu. 1 live, 2 blood bags, 2 orders of blood chocolates, and 2 blood wines. He paused. Yes, charge it to the room. Thank you. He looked at Shadow. 20 minutes. Marcus sat down at the desk. He swiped away the screensaver. Could you bring me that bag I packed? Shadow picked it up and carried it to Marcus. What's in it? Papers and computer things. He opened it and pulled out a couple of digital data sticks. He hit a few buttons, then started working on spoofing his IP address and routing it across the entirety of Chivitas. Creating fake documents was a capital offense on Umbra. He assumed the same was true for Chivitas. You said you're 153? Yes, Shadow said. She rested her head on his shoulder. Do you have to do that right now? I need to get this started, Marcus said. Once I get a job and a house, we'll have plenty of time for you to ride my mutto. Shadow laughed. I did not mention your mutto. Marcus turned his chair around. You didn't have to. He teased him with his thumbs and marveled when they started to protrude. What are you finding so arousing? He was fully dressed. She couldn't see any part of his anatomy, and he was pretty certain it wasn't a red or blue moon. You, Shadow said. You're just thinking about it, Marcus said. I want it, Shadow said. Want or need? Marcus asked. Need. Marcus helped Shadow out so that she would calm down. Marcus stood just about the time there was a knock on the door. He turned the screensaver on. I'll get that. He walked over to the door and reveal room service with a cart full of wine and desserts and a live blood doll. He stepped back to allow the man entrance. Just leave everything outside the door, including the live food, the man said. Marcus tipped him a silver coin, then closed and locked the door. He walked over to the cart and poured them each a glass of blood wine. The live food is for you. Shadow grabbed live food's wrist and sank her fangs into the vein. She didn't understand why all the food had to be taller than her. She never could reach their necks. Shadow drank deeply. Marcus sat down at the desk with his blood wine and resumed his task. Shadow was satisfied and the IP address was ready. He just needed to fill out Shadow's paperwork. But just as he started, he heard a deep purr. At first, he thought that a beast cat had gotten into the room. Then he realized it was Shadow. Marcus waited until she was done feeding and had thrown the body out in the hall. Don't forget to lock the door. Shadow locked and chained the door. Do you remember your birthday? Marcus asked. Yes, Shadow rattled off the date. Is that your birth date or your death date? Marcus asked. Birth. I was alive when I was born, Shadow said. Do you remember the date when you were turned? No. How old were you? Marcus asked. 31, Shadow said. Marcus filled in the rest of the information. Were they able to take a picture of you when you got your information on Umbra? No, Shadow said. You can't take a picture of me. I'll get a painter up here tomorrow night, Marcus said. He saved Shadow's information. Think about another name. Your name is indigenous to Umbra. I have to change my name? Shadow asked. Just while we're here, Marcus said. I can't put Shadow on this paperwork. Now I'll think about it, Shadow said. Think hard and fast. The minute I get a new portrait of you, I'm going to take a picture of it and put it on your documents, Marcus said. He paused when he heard a loud combination of lightning and thunder. I guess you're not searching for a painter tonight, Shadow said. Not with that storm coming, Marcus said. I'll do it when I get up tomorrow night. He opened his documents and adjusted them to make it look like he was born on Chivitas. When he got to his work history, he paused. Shit. What? I don't have a work history here, Marcus said. And I can't use my Umbra references. How do you fix that? Shadow asked. I'm not sure yet, Marcus said. He opened a second window and started searching businesses in the local area. Maybe I can find some businesses that do similar things. But what if they call references? Shadow asked. Oh, this just keeps getting more complicated, Marcus said as he searched companies. There was nothing in the local area. He broadened his search to include the larger cities. Found one. How many jobs have you had? Shadow asked. Dozens, Marcus said, but I just need enough to fill out the last couple centuries. No one cares what I did 3,000 years ago, not even 500 years ago. Have you been awake that whole time? Shadow asked. Most of it. I took a nap for about 100 years during Umbra's second civil war, Marcus said as he watched her expression. I didn't want to I didn't want to participate, and there wasn't anything I could do about it. What did you do with all your stuff? Shadow asked. I didn't have a lot back then, so I buried it all with me, including all the money I had, Marcus said as he continued to search for companies that had his experience. Found another one. He copied the information of both companies into the document. Shadow stretched on the bed. Eat some of that chocolate. This is going to take a while, Marcus said. But it's not blood, Shadow said. Yes, it is, Marcus said. It's perfectly safe. He continued his digital mission while Shadow hesitantly approached the blood chocolates. Half a minute later, she was gorging herself. Marcus chuckled as he found the remaining businesses that would help him construct his new work history. He saved his progress just as there was a huge crack of lightning and decided that it was in his best interest to disconnect until after the storm had passed. Marcus stood and turned around. Shadow was collapsed in a chair, and the catering cart was nearly empty. Did you eat it all? Not hungry, Shadow said. Marcus picked up the second bottle of blood wine. It was not empty. He refilled his glass and took a drink. When's the last time you were full? Oh, months ago, if you don't count the Earthling ship, Shadow said. I knew we could get you fed if we left Umbra, Marcus said. Did you finish? No, the storm is getting worse. Marcus looked around when the power flickered. Whoa! Shadow jumped off the bed and ran over to the window. She pulled the curtains back to look outside. It's a balcony if you put on a robe, Marcus said as he walked into the bathroom. He grabbed a robe, then joined Shadow at the sliding glass doors. Please put this on. Shadow slid her arms through the robe. Marcus tied the belt. Then he opened the glass doors. Wet air immediately assaulted their senses. The temperature dropped, Shadow said. Significantly, Marcus said. He wrapped his arms around her and kissed the side of her neck. He kept kissing her neck as the downpour started. Damn. Shadow blinked. She'd barely heard the word. It was as if he'd breathed it. What? I haven't seen rain like this in a while. He worked his way to the back of her neck. Shadow inhaled. How do you do that? She was suddenly as aroused as if he were licking her. Marcus brushed his lips along the back of her neck. I just happened to know. Shadow laughed. She started to say something when the wind increased. Let's close this. We can leave the curtains open, though, Marcus said. The glass looked to be UV resistant. It was certainly dark enough. Shadow stepped back and closed the sliding glass. It never rained like this on Umbra. Some of the places on the coast used to get a lot of rain, Marcus said. Where we were did not. He walked over to the cart and picked up a blood bag. This one did not have a straw attached, so he sank his fangs through the marks on the bag and drank. Shadow splatted into a large lounge chair and picked up a remote control. She hit the on button and watched as a panel slid on the wall. You found the entertainment system, Marcus said as he tossed his blood bag on the cart. Movie? Shadow asked. I'll join you after I shower, Marcus said. Shadow hopped out of the chair. She threw her robe in it. I need a shower. Join me. He walked into the bathroom and located the shower. Marcus grabbed 2 washcloths out of the linen closet and stuck them on the hooks in the shower. He then pressed a couple of buttons on the panel. Shadow walked into the bathroom. Wow, this almost looks like the shower on the spaceship. Similar, Marcus watched as 2 shower heads and several steam nozzles appeared. The water and steam started flowing immediately. I think this is ready. Shadow walked in ahead of Marcus. Perfect. Marcus hesitantly stepped into the shower. He'd set the water temperature at 120 degrees. The bathroom was filling with steam. The shower floor was hotter than he liked, and Shadow was standing directly under the shower head. He stayed a few paces back. Are you warm? This is great, Shadow said. If you come here, I'll wash you. He grabbed a washcloth and lathered it with soap. Are you going to try it? Shadow asked as she walked towards him. I set the temperature for you, Marcus said as he started to scrub her body, and I'm happy you like it. He washed her hair, then sent her back under the steaming shower. How long are the nights here? Shadow asked as she rinsed. I'm not sure, but judging by the fact that it's still dark, longer than we're used to, Marcus said. Once Shadow had exited the shower, he turned the water down 20 degrees and washed himself. Shadow dried with the warm towels. She wrapped one around her hair and one around her body before stepping over to the sink to brush her fangs. Where's the fang paste? Should be on the shelf above the sink, Marcus said. Fang brush should be up there too. He finished washing and rinsed. By the time he was drying, Shadow was headed into the sleeping area. Shadow discarded her towels and almost hopped into the bed before she realized they were supposed to watch movies. We need to know how long these nights are. Marcus walked out of the bathroom with a towel wrapped around his waist. Let me look. He walked over to the desk screen and brushed away the screensaver. His previous work was gone. He'd saved it to his drives and disconnected them from the system. Marcus searched for the weather information for their local area. 56 hours a day. 20 of that is daylight. The nights are 36 hours. Holy shit! Our whole day on Umbra was 36, Shadow said. And 12 that was daylight, Marcus said. There's another 12 hours a night here. He walked over to his bag and pulled out a pair of boxers. Can we even stay up that long? Shadow asked. I have no idea, Marcus said. We're about done with our normal night now, and I'm exhausted. I was about to go to bed before I remembered we were going to watch movies, Shadow said. Why don't we sleep? Marcus said. If we get up early, we can watch movies. Shadow launched herself into the bed and dove under the blankets. Marcus laughed. That's a lot of energy for someone who's tired. He climbed into the bed next to her and waited. It didn't take her 3 seconds to wrap around him. Marcus didn't understand the appeal. He had no heartbeat and he wasn't warm, but Shadow seemed to like it. All right, folks, that is the end of chapter 3. Thank you so much for listening. The next live video will be chapter 4, second night on Chivitas. I hope you guys enjoyed the story to this point, and we'll revisit this book next week. Anyway, have a wonderful evening and a wonderful weekend.